All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Baddy Overwatch League Semifinals. I'm AJS0. I'm here once again with my certified partner in crime, Rakudo.
Hello, it is I, Rakudo, and I am now a certified partner in crime, which is pretty dope. Because,
That's a lot of responsibility. I'm proud of you. You have worked hard and really mastered your craft over this last 2 months.
yeah, I mean,
It's a bang.
I got my award on my wall, my certificate. It's fucking great. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
All right, so we momentarily here are going to be starting the semifinal matchup, which you may have heard Heron and I trashing on in the pre-show. We've got the second seeded Social Distancing from the cart up against the third seeded Heron's Harem. These teams only one win apart in the regular season win-loss column. And we are starting this map in familiar territory. Same as last week, we are going straight to Busan.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting what they say here, 'cause I know, or what they do here, because I know they have some pretty decent hit scan on. Who chose the map, by the way?
This would have been Social Distancing's choice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess to see what they do. I mean, I know there's a lot of good hit scan, but not on this particular map, but on the other two. So they're probably more banking on getting those maps, but we'll see. I mean, they can still do well in Stomp.
Yeah, I know. I'm expecting, and we see these initial hovers. You see Senpai Chris DPG holding Hanzo McCree and some nice double shields. I know Heron was really expecting to see double shield on the pre-show.
Yeah, and looking into it, it's going to be an Orisa Sigma versus Orion Zarya. That's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, I've definitely with Lucio and Moira, I know that Heron's Harem are going to hit W as much as they possibly fucking can.
Yeah, the other big thing here, Wacky Tabaki on the McCree, he's switched to full-time DPS in recent weeks, and that's kind of been a big part of this win streak that Heron's Harem has been on. So let's see these two teams starting in opposite directions. Oh, Senpai immediately snipes out Cthulhu. Heron said Cthulhu dies first in every fight, but I didn't expect it to start so literally.
Yeah, that was quite the speed in there. I guess they have to kind of back up and like rush shield, and oh no, they're gonna go. Okay.
Yeah, they feel committed. There's no backing out from here, so they're gonna try to poke around here. But right now it is all social distancing on the card. Cthulhu, by the way, has rejoined the fight by now. So although he's being zoned up pretty hard by Chris TPG up on the high ground. Meanwhile, down here on the point, we've got a nice 5v5 bringing out Senpai gonna go down. Honors invulnerability field down as well. This is a big advantage for Heron's Harem as they've got Senpai, one of the best players on the opposing team down. But Heron maybe getting a little too split from his team there, but they do manage to trade for one of the main healers out of social distancing. Juan Pablo's Moira is down as we're having a very long fight. Actually, the surviving members of social distancing did back off the point. They opted to give this one up to potentially re-engage, but they're still kind of poking around. Chris DBG takes out Cthulhu and uses Doomfist yet again. And
yeah, with Chris DBG up there with that pick, I mean, it's not like they can do a lot to deal with him because they heard Heron already pressing.
Yeah, they're sending Heron up there, but he was a little split from his team there. Meanwhile, Senpai down here was going for the point solo as this fight's kind of getting pretty split up between high and low ground. We've got a Dragon Ball Z battle down on the point with the Moira ults as we've got some trades being made. Down here on the point, though, we see everyone's kind of starting to run back towards this point. Still a pretty even fight here. As we've got another high noon coming up. Chris TBG is going to take out Galuba. There's a lot of healers down. Wacky wins the McCree duel, and this is looking like Heron's Harem is taking over on this point. There are still some tanks alive, but Sigma, my man, you are about to get staggered. Is active lock? Okay, we're gonna have a pause. Well, active locket. I got bad news for you when we come out of this one.
There's a good chance he might survive. Believe it or not, he's just gonna do fine. Nothing wrong with this picture.
So it looks like we have a quick Discord crash. We hadn't started late enough, so
yeah, you always hate that when it happens.
Gives us a chance to look forward towards the next fight, which so looking at alt charge here, if social distancing does have anything going for them, they're looking solid on alt economy right now. Heron's Harem, they just have the Doomfist ult available, and they're at 75 on Lucio's sound barrier. Meanwhile, we have 3 going on 4 available for social distancing. So you have to think, once these staggers come to an end, the next fight is probably going to be the deciding one for this round.
Well, maybe. I don't know if it'll be the deciding one because I feel like this next fight's gonna be pretty good for social distancing. I mean, they're gonna insert this fight with good old Sigma Gravity Flux And that's probably gonna make them win the fight if I was to assume correctly, because Heron's Harem doesn't really have anything defensively. They'll have Lucio if they last long enough. I don't think it's gonna be that case.
Yeah, actually, the fact that these staggers are coming through could be really good for Harem Serum because that will give Gluba a little more time to try to piece together that sound barrier, and that could be huge heading into this next fight.
Could be, but also it could be 2 more fights too. Definitely is really up there, but I still think there's going to be at least 2 fights.
Well, we will see, hopefully momentarily, as we should be good out of one team in a sec. No, no. All right, hey folks, here's a lesson. Don't ever say the words "we should be good" if your team is not 100% confirmed good to go.
Fucking rude.
There's your life advice from ex-commissioner AJS0.
Yeah, I mean I agree. Are we
Nice.
good? Yes. Nope. What? Huh?
Hey, at least this game doesn't have a limited pause time. There's one thing Blizzard got right.
Yeah. I don't know. There's fucking some games. It's like you can only have 1 pause, and that's it. I think Counter Strike you can only have 1 pause. That's like per team, and it's like cool. Dicks. All those right there are finally ready.
All right, so I think we're just gonna. All right, that looks like the two-way confirmation. Gluba with the yes, Heron with the R, and we are unpausing. Active locket. Goodbye. As whoop, yep, there he goes. All right, so 53 and counting. Heron's him on the point. As they're still kind of staying around. Actually, they're still getting more stagger kills. Senpai, I think the last to fall. Well, Heron's here. They are pushing very aggressively here. They get everyone forced right back to their spawn. So keeping an eye on Gluba's ult charge, 81 and counting right now. As Senpai actually not going to keep the dragon. He swaps over to Soldier 76. So we've got 3 ults available. They're going to have the Otter Botter window with a double hit scan. And Cthulhu and you, the first to go down yet again. This hasn't doomed them in many fights, but that will be an ult unavailable. As now they have given up on the Baptiste window. The point is being pushed by social distancing here. But here we go, Wacky back up on the high ground, finds nothing, and actually loses his life in the process. This is now starting to look pretty good for social distancing as they're not enough kill after kill here. That's 4 kills. Yeah, this is going to be a well-fought win. As Juman Faho popped the coalescence somewhere?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe it just ran out and I missed something. I just saw it go to 0. I'm not sure.
I used it in the middle of the fight. It was kind of during cleanup. But yeah, they actually still have Sigma's Gravity Flux for this, so.
Yeah, that's big. They're getting close to a McCree ult. By the way, Heron swapped over to the D.Va. Not the first character we think of when we think of Heron.
What is the first? Moving on!
Right, so we got a lot of Coke Wars going on here as we do see this backline, Cthulhu and D.Va. It looks like Heron just really wanted to back up Cthulhu, who'd been struggling, but despite the assist, that's Cthulhu still the first one. Now Gluba down as well. It's going to be another good fight for social distancing as they're up 2 currently, but yeah, they're getting these last picks here. It's just the D.Va remaining as Heron's going to try to escape and be unable to. D.Va, oh, this is exactly what you don't want to see. D.Va without a mech. We need a pause. We need a pause. We're having more Discord issues. As
different team is going to the now.
So this is apparently actual Discord issues.
Maybe if they're sharing Discords with each other.
Yeah, it's a Twitch chat. I guess if I'm gonna ask this in Twitch chat because we're paused right now, and I don't want to wait 3 minutes for a response.
Yeah, so going to this fight, we still have Senpai with having his little, I forgot exactly what the fucking all is called to be honest, but Soldier's little pew pew McChoo. We still have Gravity Flux. I mean, I feel like that's going to be some pretty big alts to deal with. Cthulhu has been holding on to his ult for quite a while and never really having a great opportunity to use it. Although he probably just has to use it for this next fight. I mean, they have Lucio's ult, his little DJ McBam Bam. Going to save a team probably from the Gravity Flux. I assume it's what Active Lock is waiting for, is for Gluba to use it, but I don't know. I think the fight for Heron's Harem, if they're going to do well with this, it's probably going to be off of a Shatter. I think it's going to be off of Wacky on the flank and off of a Shatter, and that's going to be the deciding factor if they are to win this next fight. but it's gonna be very difficult. Like I said.
Real quick, 30. Do you have TeamSpeak installed if we somehow get the worst case scenario? All right, so if we have to go back up, if we somehow lose this, I'm guessing that's the plan. Hopefully, we won't come to that. Yeah, Recruito, if we somehow lose this Discord, we're gonna hop over to TeamSpeak, I think. So
All right. I don't have it installed or anything, so
I mean,
just
it's a quick install, so I can solo while you get set up. If worst case
Yeah.
scenario, I can solo. Hopefully, our Discord seems to be unaffected, so just don't close Discord, I guess. By the way, real quick, want to give a shout out to my voice client of choice, TeamSpeak. Every time, Haren, you've asked me, why do you use TeamSpeak, you stupid fucking boomer? This is why. Because TeamSpeak will never crash in the middle of your Baddy Overwatch League match.
I like Mumble.
That's another solid choice. I like the hosted owned servers, but we don't got time for that because we are approaching last fight territory, 68% and counting. The social distancing is control of the point here. There are a lot of ults available. This should be a pretty explosive fight as we have the good old Busan high ground poke off going on right now.
The shadows gonna be incoming pretty hard.
Yeah, we see these things get into others' grills right now. Sigma with a nice knockup, and that's going to force Gluba to pop the 5-man sound barrier. High Noon out of Wacky finds no one in Haren looking for a nice angle on his Diva Bomb, and it finds 2 in the back line. That could be Haren's chance to flip this point. They've lost Cthulhu, but they've never cared about that thus far. Chris TPG finds nothing with the high ground, and now they're falling apart on this entry. Chris TPG does go down. This is currently man advantage, but Senpai is going to try to turn this around. He is jumping in there. Tactical visor, useless. And that point now flips back to Haren's Haren. Womble going for a stall in overtime. There are going to be some stagger picks here, but Otterbotter gets killed on the entry. This Lucio is very outnumbered right now. I don't think... Oh, Bark, though. There's the Wrecking Ball. If anyone can stall it, it's going to be the ball. But that Bark is not going to last for long. Chris TPG down. Just a Winston here on this point. Well, and Senpai's there on Soldier, but this is looking like GR Haren's Harem. Everyone from social distancing just doing their part. They're touching this point, but dying. Actually, now they're about to have 3 on the point. That's the best it's been in a while. But no, still does not last. They're gonna... Haren actually tosses a Diva Bomb out, but unnecessary. It finally took some time.
Yeah, that stagger was real. That stagger, sorry, the hold off. Whatever it's called. Just pretend I've been drinking, like, liquor the whole time. I'm just fucking wasted.
You know, it's kind of a double whammy of if you're drinking before you cast, you could really get into roasting the team. I mean, maybe that's what we need. Maybe like a couple of drinks in, Recruito, like toxic Recruito is unleashed.
Hey guys, you fucking suck.
Just in the middle of a fight. Haren, what the fuck was that?
You look like a fucking stupid hand.
Alright, so second round here. We've got the Farah Echo coming out of Senpai and Chris TVG. So they're trying to change things up. There is no hit scan on the side of Haren's Harem right now. So Wacky Tabaki gonna do what he can to maybe take these airborne heroes out of the air. As we still see this double main healer composition coming through for social distancing. As this point's about to unlock, as it's currently Haren's Harem in control at this point. So we'll see how... Oh, Chris TPG the first to go down, and actually despite having all 6 there to start with, there is no challenge from social distancing. Chris TPG the first to fall, he is going to be rezzed, so we still have a 6v6 with point over to Haren's Harem right now.
Yeah, that pick already. They're gonna have to pull back referring to social distancing.
Yeah, really rough entry out of social distancing from the cards. They've lost Chris TPG twice, and he is giving up on the Echo. Moira out of Jumanfo, who's been healing his tail off thus far. Chris TPG over to the Tracer. Despite never really has fully ceased, Cthulhu going in the backline. Here we go. Quank Womble popping the Moira ult. That's Jumanfo going to get the kill on Chris TPG, but Senpai raining justice. He finds 2 before going down. We have a 4v4 right now as the Meteor Strike is coming through, but a shield is going to save some healer lives. Still though, Haren's here mopping up in the chaos. Otter gets a res on a Senpai during this fight, but social distancing is still madly outmanned. And the Harem's going to hold.
Yeah, I mean, right now they just have to deal with the Pharah, but I mean, as long as they got a shield, they're just gonna eventually kill him. With time, eventually.
Yes,
Or not.
so a lot of poking here. Cthulhu, you just spawned in. Maybe social distancing wants to force this issue before Doomfist can get back, but Doomfist is back, so that will not quite happen. His Pharmacy up in the air, really forcing some nice pressure from on high, or at least trying to. There's a Bark, by the way, swapped over to Doomfist. There's a lot of pressure all over the back lines here. As Christy BG and Senpai both go down. Ooh, that is a boom kill out of the fire. You don't see that every day. Otter down as well. This is, once again, not looking good for social distancing, but this timer is running out fast.
Yeah, it's been pretty effective, with Cthulhu mostly just getting free dives. He's not even getting picks, but just getting free dives, doing a lot of damage and pulling out without dying. And like that taking over mostly the first fight. And this next has just been a lot of just fucking picking.
Yes, we see a dragon chucked out towards spawn, and Christy PG gonna fall here. Graviton Surge comes out. I'm not even sure whose Graviton Surge that was. It must have been Harren's. I don't know what he was shooting for there, but Sigma has returned. He's got the knockup, but we see some kills being traded as Jumanfo on the Moira finds a double kill, takes out the Pharmacy. As this is still looking good for Harren's Harem. Stall picks are here for social distancing, but they are madly outnumbered here, and unless this Wrecking Ball can do something pretty crazy, and he's gonna be careful not to fall off, and unfortunately he loses his life. And Harren's Harem picks up right where they left off last week, and they dominate Busan.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts. They had the both Echo and Pharah for a lot of damage, which would be pretty much should be nailing and fucking them, fucking the whole entire team up, but that wasn't the case. In fact, Cthulhu was just getting free dives, free picks, and that was it.
Yeah, this reminds me of something that Harren had been saying on the pre-show.
Thanks for your support.
He was saying, at least, he did not feel very confidently about social distancing's ability to play dive, and he was kind of saying that really when they swap off of these shield compositions, they really, really don't play well. And that's what really worried me in this last map is there was some back and forth when they were playing the double shield, and then I think they wanted to switch things up. They went over to a divier comp, and it just did not seem to be effective at all.
Yeah. I mean, they got double shield for most of the time, but I feel like, I don't know, they didn't do anything with it, not as much as they could have.
Yeah, and this was despite, I mean, Cthulhu and you, if we're being honest, was gifting social distancing advantage at the start of every fight, practically. His on the Doomfist, his job was kind of to just get eyes focused on him and die in most of these fights.
He was unpunished.
Yeah, or even if he was outright killed at the start of the fight, it didn't matter. So we are going to have a swamp here. Fwank Womble out, Tuna Sub in, so potentially some role swaps coming.
I have a feeling they're actually going to keep the same. I don't think they're going to switch up. I think it's going to be the same what they have, and just Tuna Sub playing support.
That's true. Tuna Sub had played support the last time he had played, so we will have a hybrid map coming up, and it looks like it is going to be King's Row.
Out of all hybrid maps, I feel like that's best for social distancing. I understand.
I agree.
They're going to do a lot of high ground hit scan DPS. Chris is definitely going to have to pull some big shots out of his butthole. And they just punish the Doomfist. I mean, they just punish him. He dives in a lot. Expect it.
Yeah, these teams should have to pay for the professional advice like that.
Yeah. I mean, you have Sigma and you have Orisa. Doomfist comes in, pull, rock, kill.
Well, social distancing from the cart, you have a potentially lot of maps to go here, as I could be jumping to conclusions here. I mean, this is still a first to 4, so we could be going for a while. So let's see here if they can, maybe get it together a bit more on King's Row, or if Harren's Harem is going to just continue on this mad win streak that they've been on.
Yeah, they, have been playing very well. Like, I can't say that it's not like their fault that they're winning, or it's the other team's fault that they're winning. They are playing, especially with HAREM constantly throwing those grabs into the fucking drum, trying to bang it and not get anyone in. Great job.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I'm trying to be mean. I know it's hard. I know no one ever hears me do it.
It's okay. The positivity is a good balancing act with everyone else that gets on the microphone in this league. I do enjoy that.
Alright, I'll shove so much positivity up everyone's asshole that they'll feel like they're just fucking rainbows shoving up their ass and, I don't know, squeezing out their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
5, 4.
That's a good sight.
2.
Powered by Starfish Daddy. Alright, so we've got Ryan Zarya composition coming out of social distancing. We've got it. There it is, folks. Blaboor, are you watching? Senpai on the Mei. We got a Mei Reaper comp, and they are going to get right into the face of HAREM. Try to pick people apart. There are some low health bars here, and Wacky back to first of all, but Mei, the Senpai, going to lose his life in the process. 5v5 on the points is now a bunch of Ryans just swinging in each other's faces, but HAREM looking good here. They do take out Chris TPG. And if they wait a second for Mei to return, they can have a numbers advantage here if they force the issue fast. Actually, no, Chris TPG runs back to spawn. Chris TPG off Reaper on McCree.
That's a good attack. I agree with that.
Yeah, they need something for aforementioned Doomfist. And here we go. On to the point again. The Mei wall splitting people, but Chris TPG the first to go down. But Tuna Sub actually coming through. Kind of put out some good damage with this Coalescence and finds a lot of damage there. That has forced the HAREM back on their backs. And there we go. Second fight. And that's going to be a one fight by social distancing.
That was a very good wall. That was the perfect split. Leaving just Lucio and Ryan just to deal with that shit. I'm like, Wacky already getting 2 picks. Good for them.
Yeah, ooh, Tuna Sub. That is big, though. Wacky with the long stagger. And that is the best player unavailable for HAREM's HAREM. Which means they are not going to be able to defend these early chokes on King's Row. That is one of the worst times in Overwatch to get picked off. As that really stops you from contesting probably 2 common contest points. As you just slowly watch Wacky Tabaki all the way back there.
Going to this fight, though, they do have both Grab and Dragon, so we'll have to see that fun combo.
Yeah, so it's kind of getting close here for social distancing. Here we go, Graviton's coming through, and oh, there is nothing to stop that.
Just fun.
Grab Dragon, no Dragon necessary, though.
Yep, but, I mean, it was used and they did push them back, so that's always nice. Gluba is going to have a big decision for this next fight. Is he going to use his ult to save a fight, or is he going to save it up for when the next grab happens?
Yeah, this could be, we could see Grab into Blizzard potentially here. Gluba at 90%, so keep an eye on this Lucio. He will presumably get sound barrier as this starts, but Senpai goes down as he pops the Blizzard. Now Wacky, kind of up on this high ground, has some free reign into the backline. He's finding damage, he takes an Autobounder before she can pop sound barrier. As this is kind of an even fight. The card is still moving forward as everyone once again getting into each other's faces. Wacky Tabaki has fallen back towards his team. But, ooh, Chris TPG with a big kill, and now Part-Time Jesus gets the slam onto 1. It's just a Sigma, though, but that is going to be a kill on a Chris TPG. And now here we go, sound barrier from Autobounder. It is on 5. There are a lot of very low health fires here, and also this is going to take advantage. 3 fast kills and make that 4. Social distancing going to get very close. Probably cap point 2 here.
Yeah, with Cthulhu in the back, they know where he is. This might be another pick before they can get the fight going.
Yeah, Cthulhu, you're crouched up there. Cthulhu, you need to just go die on the cart. Is Cthulhu going to be the last dagger there? And second point is captured, but
that's going to be a dead Ryan.
That's Baddy Overwatch League Season 1 Reinhardt right there.
As a great charging Ryan that I am to feed, I enjoy it.
So that will, once again, a stagger gets this cart through the choke, and there we go, a nice stagger out of the front line. Gluma and HAREM go down immediately. A counter dragon coming out of Wacky Tabaki, but it might be too little too late. Senpai falls to his death. They could not afford to give up any extra bodies.
Yeah, it's going to be ults down, and that's going to be the point.
I'm sorry, I stand corrected. They absolutely can afford to give him extra bodies because they completely outman Heron's Harem right now. As I was getting, oh, a nice boop from the fist. Heron tosses out a Graviton just in panic, trying to hold something, but it's only going to suck in Otter Botter. Wacky trying to make a miracle on this Tracer. He will not find it. As once again, we have another 2 meter to play fight on the cart here. As Doomfist goes up, Doomfist does not have to come back down, and that was a much better round out of social distancing from the cart.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot better. They had some really nice walls. They played that a lot more smoothly. They weren't like being as fucking stupid or random. I'm gonna run out there and just die for funsies. But yeah, they played much better there. More tight knit.
I'm excited. I was hoping for a match tonight, and it's looking like we might have one. That was a great round of offense out of social distancing.
Yeah, I think Senpai's referring to the ult that never happened. I honestly do not know what happened.
No, I think he actually just ran off the edge. He had a suicide death there, right? It was right after his team had gotten 3 kills. And I got confused by all the red in the kill feed, and I miscalled it at the time. But, you know, it didn't affect the team at all, fortunately, for him. But the only thing I can think of is that he actually just walked off the edge because he wasn't watching carefully.
That's true.
And you know what? That happens on Kings Row. That last point at Kings Row, home to some legendary Baddy Overwatch League moments, especially that Baddy part. It's in the name.
If we do it on the next week during the match, I'll jump off. I respect that, Senpai. I'll fall off for you.
I'm gonna show my solidarity for Senpai's misplay by killing myself. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Alright, so on offense, Heron's Harem, they have Wacky Tabaki looking for the early Widow pick. Will he stick with it?
I'm
guessing not.
Yeah, he's not a Widow player. He's going for the fun pick.
Listen, you say not a Widow player, but if I've learned anything about high SR players, it's that they all think they're Widow players, and that's all that matters. But here we go. Early trade, Gloomo for Bark, 5v5 right now. Autobot down as well. Lucio is unavailable. Wacky down is a 4v4 heading towards the point. Senpai picked as well. This is looking good given the close spawns for Heron's Harem. They're forcing the 3 remaining members of the defense back, and they are kind of mopping apart here. They're going to mop this whole fight up. And Heron's Harem wins the first fight, takes the first point.
Yeah, that was pretty clean sweep. That's all I'm going to say. It was just a clean sweep.
Yeah, social distancing kind of got sucked into one of those stagger fights, and when you're defending so far from your spawn, so close to the opposing spawn, those stagger fights are a disadvantage.
Yep. However, this next fight, though, it is pretty, long hallway, so the maze walls are pretty...
Do they know Cthulhu and you is back there? Alright, Cthulhu, this is your chance. He slams it and takes out Tunisub. He gets immediately killed, but you'll take that trade. That is the main healer unavailable for the defense, who have a long way to go until Tunisub comes back. As now Alter's starting to be tossed out here. As Heron finds a few big kills. He's lost this Reinhardt, but I don't know if he's going to care. That is one highly charged Zarya trying to get this kill onto active Locket, who is kiting around the corner, going to lose his life. Heron keeping social distancing back the hell up as everyone steps off this cart. Everyone steps off this cart. Cthulhu, you finally notices it, goes back to it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone stopped off that cart.
Yeah, a worthwhile chase is they managed to get 2 kills here, as now Galuba has accepted his fate as cart pushing duty. But this is going to get the cart almost all the way to point 2. Big pick on a Wacky, though.
They're going to have one more fight to defend this, I think, a point. They'll have to really clutch me wall.
Well, that was not it. But there are a lot of ults available here, but Heron going to be the first one to press go. Graviton comes out. Now Graviton comes out. Senpai was down early. A dragon into the Graviton. No defense available. No defense necessary, though. As we have a 5 versus 4 in favor of the Harem right now, as they're trying to push this line forward. Active Lock getting really low, just barely holding on to his life, but not any longer. Active and Otterbotter both go down. Tunisub down. And Heron's Harem, they have not stopped pushing this cart. Why start now?
5 minutes and 30 seconds for the next and last push. That sucks.
Yeah, really rough here for social distancing, who we'll see. I mean, the stalls, there are a lot of opportunities to stall here on this last point, as now we have a Moira ult coming out to start this fight. Oh, Wacky Tabaki, though, finds 2. Cthulhu and you finds a 3rd. And this is just looking like another disaster for our 2nd seed.
That should be it.
Get in there.
And what happened to it again?
I did not catch, but Senpai now on Soldier 76 here as everyone's going to try to get onto this cart. We have some last-minute contests coming down as now Hammer's being slammed here. 5v5 on the cart. Now Graviton comes out of Harem, and that could be the big one. There's some nice damage coming through. Numbers advantage overwhelmingly in favor of Heron's Harem, but now it's just active locker remaining. Heron's Harem looks like they are going to mop this one up. Just some stall picks coming out as Chris TPG does find wacky, but that will not be enough. And 45 seconds faster, Heron's Harem will take all 3 points, and we are going to extra rounds.
Score.
Wow. That was just a push, and then a push, and then a push. And I think a little bit more push, but it was pretty much just a push.
Initiating match.
They didn't lose a single fight.
Yeah, that's and suddenly all that momentum that you may have felt you had in social distancing, you look at this and go, all right, it's close, it's 45 seconds apart, but it's that they didn't. Heron's Harem did not lose a single fight. If I'm on social distancing, that is definitely in my head.
Yeah, it definitely is in there. However, you also got to think about, well, now with this new system, it's 2:45 versus 2 minutes. Like, that's the fact that it goes down so much, down to 2 minutes. That's a lot of time. That's a lot more like ability to like kind of go off and win off of ults. So it definitely gives them more of a chance to deal with this rather than dealing with the whole 4-minute thing. They're definitely still in this, like hard in this. It is not over.
Yeah, excited to see what they bust out here. So it is going to be social distancing on the offense first, as they are hovering on to that May Doomfist right now. Meanwhile, more of the same out of Heron's Harem. Not surprised here. They know their picks, and they are going to stick with it, I think, as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, I feel like social distancing is going to be able to take this point and probably the second point. That's what I'm feeling now, right?
Well, let's see. Can they pick up the good momentum they had before? Maywall going to split the Harem apart, but they're not quite getting the damage that they want to stick here, as everyone's kind of diving in. A lot of damage being dealt, but Bark going to be the first victim. As Chris DPG, or sorry, Cthulhu and you, both the Doomfists, they have to die. They have to die early, and they do. It's advantage Heron's Harem right now is, this fight's kind of going on long. They get a late pick on a 2-sub. This is turning into a very long fight, but it is already over for Heron's Harem, as they managed to get some ult charge out of all this.
Yeah, I mean, going into this next fight, it's gonna be a little difficult. The social distancing definitely has some good picks. I have to get some good picks for this. At least one, maybe two, right off the bat.
Here we go, Maywall, same place as before, hoping for a different outcome. And there we go, Bark wins the Rhine off. A nice charge, but 2-sub. That is the main healer down for social distancing. That is exactly what they did not want to have happen. And Heron's Harem, they're kind of capitalizing here. They get a few picks in a row. Heron now with some nice damage. That is 3 kills for the Harem. They're committing some ults, but they are winning this fight.
You'd be wise to stay out of my sight.
That was a clean win. I mean, losing your main tank and everyone just kind of, getting together, fucking killing people. Like,
Yeah, they got a huge pick on a 2-sub there, right as things should have looked good for social distancing. Suddenly, their main healer unavailable. And now we head for this last fight. Gonna be a few ults available, and it looks like 2-sub gonna waste no time. Pops the Coalescence on the entry. Now Graviton is out. Meteor Strikes coming through. Is the Meteor Strikes gonna just be on top of each other? The Cthulhu and you going to lose the Doomfist fight. As we see a 5-man sound barrier coming out of Glooba. This is currently a 1-man advantage in favor of Heron's Harem, but that may not last for long. These stall picks coming out here as Chris TPG's finding some nice damage. Social distancing has the chance to turn this around. And if people come back from spawn, there are a lot of ults available. And there we go, Bark with a nice slam. Gonna be swinging away in that back line. Heron's Harem trying to stall this one out. But Senpai now has a big blizzard. This is going to be really hard for the Harem to engage through, and Bark mopping up some kills here. We're in overtime, but this is looking like it's going to be a point here for social distancing, and they are going to get access to the cart. As they are pushing forward, Chris TPG going to lose his life as they were looking for a stagger. But this could be an opportunity for Heron's Harem to go in 6v5 if they really want to jump, or at least they can hold this first major choke.
Still going on the high ground, ready to get that pick as soon as the car starts to push pretty hard. Probably waiting for it to go underneath, and he's for the back line as the rest of his team hits W.
Yeah, Heron just got Graviton Surge, so that's going to be the big ult to watch for. There's a big choke, a big Graviton on the menu here. We'll see if Haren sees his chance for it. As there it is, Graviton, he gets access to the back line. It's on 3. A Maywall going to come out is the only defensive available. Meanwhile, Christy BG going very aggressive from the back line. He's found 2, and this is once again looking good for social distancing. They lose active lock-it, but they found more kills. And they're going to try to get some long staggers here, as they are not losing anyone in the process. And there we go, some last staggers coming through. It's going to be a lot of ground for this offense.
Yeah, going to this next fight, they're going to have Shatter and the potential of having Grav in this too, which probably will happen, let's be real. But it's going to be a pretty nifty fight. I mean, Cthulhu is going to have his ult available for the next fight. If he gets 2 picks, 1 to 2, I mean, that's might be the GG for them. Or, not GG, but good round, I guess.
Alright, so here we go. Remember, this point's only meaningful as a spawn opposition. But here we go. Hammer dropped, hits 2. Meteor strike going up. Blue and part-time Jesus already down. As Cthulhu, who does find Autobotter in the back line, though. That's some of the healing unavailable. This is still advantage 1. No, actually, now this is turning into a pretty even fight. But now social distancing turns on the burners at the end. They mop this one up. As Christy BG, he's kind of starting to pop off here on Doomfist.
That was really nice referring to social distancing. They were able just to use Shatter, win the point, get ults up. Almost their whole entire team has ults now. It's looking pretty good for them. They can most likely take this 3rd point if they're careful.
Yeah, so here we go. What can Haren's Harem do to stop that, as we are having a banger of a game here on King's Row? Active locket, looking for the Graviton, and there it is. Defensive coalescence coming through. But that Blizzard is putting some big damage down. As here we go, sound barrier on the 6 members of social distancing. Despite pressing all of these Qs, they still haven't found any kills though. Now Christy BG drops in, still all these ults committed, no kills, but that has to be the one, right? Bark with the big slam, but now it's a Glooba barrier. They've only lost Cthulhu and you. We know Haren's Harem isn't concerned about them. 65 on the card. No one died. Finally, the Zarya's traded, but Haren, with his dying breaths, gets a Graviton Surge off. It may not have been enough, though, as it is all red kills in the kill feed. And social distancing, they just need to kill this Moira. They just need to kill this Doomfist. But there we go. There goes one. Can they get Cthulhu and you? Yes, they can. And social distancing from the cart cleans up, and they get all 3 points in overtime.
What an amazing push. That is looking really good for them at this moment. All they have to do is play for big Qs. Big Qs, and they could probably take this map. However, Haren's Harem, they have been looking really fucking solid with being able to dive with Cthulhu, get free picks, and the rest of their team kind of dealing with mashup, wash up, whatever, dealing with the aftermath. So
yeah, and it's been all offense here on King's Row. As this feels like a good old school Baddy League round at King's Row, as we've now seen 9 points taken, and who knows how many more. I'm really impressed with that last fight though, because it looked like Haren's Harem had weathered the storm of just the barrage of ultimates without losing anybody. But at the very end of the fight, the pressure had just been enough that finally social distancing was able to just totally mop up, and ends up being a really clean fight win to give them the point. So now we'll see. Can we see the defense for the first time tonight?
Haren's Harem is playing the same thing. They're not really switching too much up. I mean, I know Wacky's probably going to go back to either McCree or whatever. But, you know, with looking at social distancing, I mean, they got May's ult. That's a good stopper. Like, this can be nasty, especially with Tuna Sub on Brig right now.
Yes, I like this Brig swap. This is the first we've seen of it tonight. And with how brawly these fights can have been, you got to think the Brig is going to be pretty effective. So here we go. Everyone up on each other's faces. Who can find the early kills here? Some damage is really sticking on Haren's Harem, but no kills just yet. This Harem trying to get topped off of that Reinhardt very low. It's going to be hard for them to push towards this point. Haren just trying to get some ult charges. Cthulhu goes in, goes out. All 12 members just staring down this point right now, but there we go. A nice ice wall. They're going to try to get some damage to stick onto Haren, because Haren is going to be the first victim here in this fight. But they do lose Otterbottom. That's a lot of healing now unavailable for social distancing, but they do win the fight. That should buy the Moira the time to return.
Yeah, and going to this next fight, Haren's Harem is going to have Coalescence, and that's going to be pretty fucking nuts.
Oh, here we go, though. Cthulhu and you, big swap potentially here, as he is onto the Pharah. No Mercy available, so keep an eye on that, but this is a very nice situation for Pharah. As here we go, Dragon Ball Z on the point again. is the Rockets raining free from up in the air. Hammer's being traded, but part-time Jesus is looking a lot more holy with that slam, as that is going to just rip the defense to shreds. That was a perfect ult from part-time Jesus, and that is a team kill.
That was nuts. That was a clean hammer. That was a clean shatter. That was pretty good. And going to this, like I said, he has switched to Pharah. Cthulhu switched to Pharah, not playing the usual Doomfist anymore.
And we should have known, Rakudo. We got our hopes up, or at least I did. 1-1 fight by the defense, but we know that trend can never last. Not in this map.
Yeah, this could be.
All offense continues. And now here we go. Graviton comes out. As Doom's going to try to slam into it, but there was a good sound barrier out of Glooba there. No one lost to this Q barrage. And now Heron tosses the other direction. Still though, only 1-for-1 so far, but a lot of the Qs have been committed. Is now Senpai dropping this Blizzard on the point. This is starting to look good from social distancing, as Chris DPG is picking apart in the chaos here. It's looking like another defensive hold here, and that is great news for SDFK.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard because Heron's Harem doesn't really have any defensive ults that are able to survive a lot of impact and influx. Especially dealing with you know, Grav or fucking even Maze ult.
Oh, that's huge though. The main healer unavailable, and now Senpai as well. And they may not have needed any ults to get this cart moving again. But Cthulhu and you, he sees his chance. He wants to go for a bigger push here. He takes out Active Locket. That's going to buy a lot of ground here for Heron's Harem. As the Spar is going to start pushing forward, looking to just keep the pressure onto the defense.
They already had a pick, and all they had to do was put some pressure. Using that ult, that actually might have cost them the fight. That might have been it.
Yeah, this could be big. So let's see here. On the defense, the defensive ult's available, Rhine Slam available. Keep an eye on this armor coming on Brig. By the way, Glooba has now swapped over to Brig versus Brig. As here we go. Everyone on the point, but it's tuning us up with the rally. Armor starting to come through. Is the hammer out of part-time Jesus not quite as fat as the last one. And now, oh man, Bark and Senpai, they mop up the harem. And that is going to do it. Social distancing from the cart says, AJ has 0, you asshole. Quit acting like this series is over, because they are going to tie this one up 1-1. And finally, the playoffs have begun.
1-2 now? But... oh, not like the first thing where it was 3... oh.
Yep, it's just a first round thing. So for anyone unaware, the first round we give a map advantage over to the higher seed because they don't skip rounds. But in the semis and the finals, since these teams have buys to skip entire rounds, they start 0-0 in the match.
Got it.
So we are 1-1 in this first to 4.
1-1, that's how much I pay attention.
Oh, I got you. Casting is a team effort, and you've got the full production team behind you right now.
Yeah, with Mr. Swifty Swiftface, AJ Zeros being the fucking master blaster from some non-disaster.
Whew.
Yeah, but going into this next, I mean, this is going to be interesting.
So we have an assault map coming up. So Hanamura, Anubis, Volskaya, the map choices here. Herons, no, not Herons. SDFK are going to be able to pick here. Or Harem. No, Harem picks here. I'm sorry.
Some team is going to be picking.
It's, if I remember right, it's so high seed picks the first map and then loser picks. Yes, I just got confirmation that's how that works. So I was thinking alternate for some reason.
I knew that. How did you not know that?
Like I said, production is a team effort.
I was lying. I did not. Anyway. Oh well. But yeah, going to this, Hanamura is going to be picked, which is going to be pretty nice. So, definitely got to see some Hanzo brother action, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I like that pick.
I always like to see Hanzo and Genji playing on their map. That usually just doesn't happen, and makes me a little...
I remember Genji.
He was a hero at some point. Did he get buffed recently? I think he got buffed. Oh, is the new support thing in effect regarding to like Mercies and Anas and the switches?
I do not think so.
That's probably experimental.
But so we gotta. It might have gone live. No one knows.
Yeah, well, if you notice that Anna is sucking a little bit more and Mercy's doing a little bit better, then I guess it did go. But if it didn't, then forget about it.
God, those are my biggest dreams. The idea of Mercy being buffed right before the playoffs. I should be playing.
Yeah, Anna is way too powerful. Like, it's kind of fucking nuts. Especially those giant eggs. I call them eggs. I feel like that's the best name for them because they splat everywhere, they get all gooey. Everyone is losing, like, or the people who like eggs are getting like the resistance. Like, it's just awesome. But so going to Hanamura, we definitely see some high defense. I feel like even though it wasn't working too well for social distancing, I feel like they're still going to play the double shield if I was to guess appropriately. And Heron's Harem is probably going to stick with the same thing regarding of Doomfist. You can get around the map. He has high mobility. There's a lot of places to sit. There's a lot of places to go through and pop through while the rest of your team is hitting to those damn fucking chokes. Then again, this map also screams, hey, I'm May. I have a wall. Let me fuck you up. So we'll see.
All right, I think we got our readies out of these teams now. There's, I think, the one we were waiting for. And yep, all right, we're starting. All right. Round 3 of this first to 4.
Hey, little fun fact, if you mouth the words, I want a vacuum, it looks like you're saying, I want to fuck you. So, now that fun fact is free and out in the world, yeah, going to this next, we'll probably
So let me tell you something. I have a lot of casting experience, and I've been really fortunate recently with some of the fighting game stuff we've done to have been able to cast with my friends in person for the first few times at the same desk. And it's a very different experience when you're sitting side by side with your co-caster. A lot, you can pick up on each other's body language or whatnot. You can like give no delay cues. There's no latency of the person needing to hear you and react. And there are just a lot of moments where I really wish I could just like look and give you the stare because it's the only appropriate reaction, and I have to just settle for some deadpan silence on the microphone.
I fully understand that. I believe out of everyone in this league, I probably deserve the most deadpan stares. I don't disagree with this.
It brings some entertainment value to the stream, and I enjoy it.
Yeah,
look I give you sometimes, but I also really wish you could see the lustful eyes I give to good games of Overwatch, and I have been waiting, but my caster cock is throbbing finally, folks, because we have seen both teams win a map in the playoffs. Big Brain E-Thoughts, you have failed. The
Great segue.
Part, they have kept my cock alive. Here we go. Everyone fighting right here inside the choke. A nice Maywall out of Senpai, and that's going to turn to 2 picks for the defense because it's 2 CP. This has to finally have some defensive fights won. So we'll get some nice staggers here. Heron going to be the last to fall. A good start out of an SDFK.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to press in through that May wall. You have to be very careful and know how to deal with it.
Yeah, I would, Cthulhu use on this Reaper right now. I actually wouldn't mind to see them go back to the Pharah. Although, I mean, now Christy BG is playing McCree, so that is going to make, I guess that probably affects things a lot.
Especially without a Mercy. Yeah, you definitely need a Mercy with it.
I've sighted the enemy.
Yeah, I don't know how confident these healers are. Ooh, nice though. They are grouped enough. They get all 6 through the choke here. But now Bark hammers into a shield as Flashbang's coming out. Some damage is taken, but there we go. Glooba the first to fall here. As Heron's Harem, they're going to try to make their way up to the high ground, but they are just getting picked apart here. This is a really awkward fight, though, because it's kind of like a 4v4 in there. And Heron's Harem, though, I think they're going to be all right here. And this is actually going to just turn into Stagger City. Cthulhu and you going to be the last to fall. As he is Reaper Wraithing out, but, oh, that's May he's running right into it. There we go. The Stagger comes through. Another 1 fight for the defense.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta remember, if you're on a losing fight, it doesn't fucking matter if you do damage or not, unless you're like really close to or something like that, but like, you gotta just fucking die quick. If you don't die quick, it's just wait. This is a game about time, not wins.
It is a common struggle with Overwatch players, that dying quick philosophy. I don't know if it's my MOBA roots to make that stuff really apparent and infuriating to me, but I agree. And here we go. Woo! That's a big graviton, and oh yes.
Oh, and that's so unfortunate to see part-time use his ult when there was a lost fight as well. But in going into this, they do have Grav, they do have McCree's ult, whatever it's called, High Noon, and they do have Coalescence, so, you know.
Oh.
And never mind.
As we are still in a lot of ults available territory. Gonna be more here. I mean, we're approaching 5 ults here for HAREM. This is the fight. They have to win this fight. Senpai, Bark, you guys, and soon Automata have the chance to disrupt with ults of their own. So let's see here, as this could really make this start to feel like GG.
So they're constantly like going in and trying to block off the main wall. If they just block off the little hole where they always go into, that'd be really funny. Nope,
Right,
never mind.
Rushing in, Graviton Surge, everyone slamming on these ults, but oh, a great sound barrier out of Gluba. There are 3 members already down for SDFK, and the rest are very low. And it turns out when everyone presses Q, you win fight. And Hanamura round 1 not gonna end just yet. It's HAREM gonna take this first points. Keep the time alive.
It always sucks to have to everyone to use Q to fucking win a fight, but that was really neat because they definitely needed to take that first point. Not taking that first point is fucking awful on a 2CP.
Yeah, now I mean they are some time away from having ults again. Part-time Jesus, the only one even over 40% on his team. Meanwhile, on the other side, Chris TPG does have the pre-ults, but the rest of his team not close at all either. So this could be a chance of one of those no-ult fights for them to maybe capitalize. So we'll see HAREM. They are rushing their way towards the point. They are 6 on the low ground, not the engagement you normally see, but they get the first pick on his Senpai's Mei. Now they get Automata as well, and this is maybe going really well here for HAREM. They do lose their Moira, though. That could be big. Chris TPG looking for the High Noon. Can they get that Reinhardt shield to fall? Part-time Jesus drops the shield, but no, High Noon not able to go off in time. And this has bought some good time for the defense to get some respawns to come through, and now they're pushing forward. They lose Bark again, though. HAREM still looking all right, but you got to think he's running on an empty tank on this Moira right now, and that may be a deciding factor in this fight. As HAREM, despite never losing anyone, they are on a full retreat here, and Senpai splits the team off. They're trying to get some picks as these tanks are split, but this is now a full 6v6 again, except for with a lot more ult charge than we had before. What an odd last minute here.
It honestly didn't seem like it, but that was really fucking good on fucking social distancing.
Agreed. Ooh, nice. Senpai gets I think the long range pick on a Cthulhu.
That part sucked for them, but playing so tight knit and no one dying and just playing close, they got a lot of all charge out of that. I mean, it's
yeah.
a lot
Now
of
we
time
see
off.
heading into this big fight is the Mei wall going to split some people. Senpai. Oh, did he die as he pressed Q and the blizzard didn't go off? That is a disaster. Now Graviton. Oh, it's going to keep the whole team up there on the high ground. And now Wacky finishes off Bark as he drops. Oh, Cthulhu and you with the Reaper. That is 3 fast kills for HAREM. And now it is looking like, after spending a lot of time all over this base, they are finally going to take what is theirs. Just 1 staller available, and it will not be enough. And HAREM, with 70 seconds remaining, will get both points on Hanamura.
That was very clean. And that's also the 3rd time this whole entire series that Senpai has died during using his ult.
Yeah, that is, I don't like to use the U word, because it's really a cop-out a lot of the time. But Senpai has been incredibly unlucky tonight.
Oh, yeah. That's why you definitely, every time you use your ult, everyone always hits shift. Even if you're fine and no one's ever going to hurt you, you just fucking hit shift, because who knows what fucking minor little stun is going to knock you out of it, or you die just for some reason. I will always fucking hit shift. It's nuts. But, you know, oh well. Going into this, interesting. So they're gonna do the teleport strategy. Cthulhu's preparing for using Mei to pretend to, or not. I guess they is gonna pretend to wall them off because there's gonna be a TP, It really depends on how well social distancing is going to realize or know how to deal with the teleport strat that everyone hates to deal with. So it could be pretty interesting, but yeah, I mean, as long as they're prepared for it, they can deal with it.
Yeah, we've seen Senpai do this a few times this season, so if you've been paying attention, you should at least have been considering this. So here we go. What can they do? May wall is honestly not good. As the teleport has made down to the point, Wacky Tabaki though going to be the first to fall. So we have a nice big beefy fight on this point. Part-time Jesus down as well, and it's looking like teleport strat may have been a big success here. Now Cthulhu and you down as well. Still no one down. Hardly, well, Senpai down, but no one else even low on the side of SDFK. And they're going to mop up these last few staggers. One fight, 1 point. As Chris DPG mops up what remains of HAREM's HAREM. There's going to be a lot of time to play with heading towards this second point.
Definitely a lot of time. And we'll definitely find out, see if they can hold on to this next point, if they can defend.
Yeah, Senpai a little staggered out as he was still long. Actually, he's just catching up with his team just about now. So there will be a chance to get 6 in. Heading towards this next point. No one too close to ults yet, but closer on the side of social distancing. Because they have a lot of time available. And here we go, they teleport up to the high ground! Oh, that's a new one! But Chris DPG going to fall first here. That's not good, as cheeky as that teleport was. This is the defenders trying to retake their own point, but it's kind of working. They get 2 picks, but now they lose their tanks, and now we have a 4v4. What can they do? The defense doesn't have spawn advantage, but they are losing the man advantage right now. Glua, though, is stalling for so long on this point as Lucio. That could be really huge. That could buy some time for people to spawn. They don't have to quite rush onto this point, but Wacky with the big stagger. And now here we go, hammer dropped into a shield. You love to see it. Is Senpai gonna get that Symmetra ult down in the middle of this fight? This is looking great for social distancing from the cart. They just had to take their own advice, distance themselves from the carts, and they're going to be fine. Because they are mopping up everything that remains of this fight. And there's gonna be some charging, Hail Mary stall picks coming through. And actually, there are, a nice Otterbotter with the sound barrier. That, they did lose Senpai, but, this could be, no, just kidding. There's no one there. Or maybe this, no, I guess this is how stagger fights go in Overwatch, folks. You get excited, and then you remember, wait, they have no chance here, and they lose, just like they should have. And SDFK, I mean, they may have just needed a map to warm up, but they are now looking on fire as they just dominated Hanamura.
Yeah, you definitely hate to see that massive amount of I don't know. I don't want to say easy GG, but
this is going to be a very uphill battle for HAREM's HAREM. They have 70 seconds, which, that's not enough time to adjust your comp if you lose a fight. I mean, you can make swaps, but you will not ult on anybody that makes those swaps. So there is a lot of pressure for HAREM's HAREM here to get a good first read, to predict what the other team is going to do and have something ready to counter it. So we'll see here. Maybe Wacky Tabaki on this Junkrat. Maybe this is the swap they need. But we are going to see more of the same out of SDFK as they have really started to settle in. They are playing well with Tuna Sub in. I'm really liking a lot of the little things he's doing. He's dying early in some of these fights, but overall, he is playing really well with his team.
I don't know. I haven't seen, to be honest. I really, so I can't say anything. I'm sorry.
These toxic non-support players never notice. What? Brigitte, I see you out there. You're doing well. Keep it up.
Yes, good job.
And here we go. So it is going to be Anna coming out. So Anna and Junkrat are the change-ups coming from the HAREM here, as they have now 60 seconds to get some damage onto this first point. What can they do? The answer is send that Doomfist in above the point. Get some faces looking away from the choke. As now the May Wall is going to split HAREM off. Can they get this kill? Not quite. They get some damage to stick though. As Gluma, I'm sorry, I cast the curse. Tuna Sub, and now Senpai down as well. Part-time Jesus goes down, so there's no Ryan available for the offense, but now no Ryan available for anyone. 2-man advantage for HAREM's HAREM here as they are making their way towards this point. You have to think this is going to be a cap here. As Christy PG trying to find something big, but it was just the Doomfist. And now there will be 2 members here. Otter and Active making it onto the point, but I don't think those two are going to be able to do much. They do take out Wacky, though. But Otter is stalling what time she can, but her team is not close. And HAREM, with their 70 seconds, that was just enough time. They take the first point. Now 35 seconds. What can they do to the second point?
Well, looking into this next point, I mean, they can get some ults going. They all are pretty close. They do have coalescence going to this fight too. So, if they play it smart and they go top right and they go quick, they could probably get up there, get some kills, and go on the point.
I don't think they have time for that anymore. They're already at 14 seconds, and I think they're realizing it too, as everyone going in the front gate. Senpai up on the high ground, going to potentially be pretty uncontestable. He's going to just drop the Senpai! What was that? Oh my god, I'm awful, and I can tell you that was an awful play. Senpai gives up the high ground, gives up his life, and now this is looking great for HAREM. Part-time Jesus trying to solo this one out, but Wacky Tabaki and Cthulhu, the DPS line, they're finding a bunch of kills. Moira's coalescence out of Otter, it does some damage, but it does not look like it's going to be enough. So Otter is buying a lot of time on this point, and now Tunasum there as well. These healers, no, Tunasum loses his life. Still though, this is not a lot of members of HAREM. They have to be careful on this spawn advantage out of SDFK, as now they're staggering themselves in though, but they still are having man advantage. Here we go. Graviton onto HAREM, but this is buying time. Anna comes in, tosses a Nano out. This is a very hectic fight on this point. The Nano wearing off just now, as we're seeing higher and higher health bars here on the side of social distancing, and you have to think this is going to be it. As now they're mopping this one up. Part-time Jesus, the last one on, he will die. And that will be a hold out of social distancing, who now know exactly what line they need to get to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually looking pretty good for a while. They definitely played it pretty nice for what cards they were dealt with. I got the first point, which is great, and they got the first tick on the second point, plus a little bit of time, which means that they need to spend the 4 minutes, referring to HAREM, they need to spend the 4 minutes, 38 seconds of defending as much time as they can on the first point, and then keeping that first tick on that second point clear.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where both teams, you look at the map situation and you go, yeah, we feel confident right now. So this should hopefully give us a very competitive round, as we will not get a draw. And I can say in this first to 4, I'm very grateful for that.
Hello there.
Yeah, which I do like the fact that these two teams are like going back and forth. They are playing they are just going at it, and they are playing well enough where it's just giving a really good fight, really good scenes, and we're all having a fun time playing, casting Overwatch like a bunch of fucking idiots.
I do enjoy being a fucking idiot, I'm not gonna lie.
Of course.
So here we go. On the defense, we got Junk and Reaper as the deeps. Anna staying here for Gluba. Meanwhile, Senpai going for more of the same because it was very effective the first time. Symmetra has arrived, folks. Now, where will the teleporter go? They're taking a little more time to make up their mind here. So they're getting to do a bit more of a poke off. There we go. Teleporter set. High ground taken. Kills traded early. Otter for Wacky. You probably take that trade if you are SDFK. You can wait for your Lucio to speed back and go for a 6v5, and that is the best player unavailable on the other team. They're getting some nice damage that's kind of starting to stick here onto HAREM, as some members of the HAREM giving me maybe some gutsy position, but it seems like it's kind of working. Otter has now rejoined her team, as Tunasum already has coalescence. It's a big healing onto his team, but that's a big grenade out of Gluma. I don't know if there's going to be any capitalization, though. It's part-time Jesus now going to fall, as this Junkrat has just rejoined his team at the point. There's still man advantage for SDFK, and Bark now finds a few big kills. Wacky down again. This is looking big for social distancing, as they just need to mop up these few remaining. They will do so with ease, and that will be the first point over, and still a lot of time to play here for a team that has never really slowed down on offense on this map.
That is so unfortunate, Wacky dying on that first, because Junkrat is a perfect thing to have against teleportation. None of his team was up there with him. He was by himself, and they couldn't really get up there with him either, and it kind of sucks. Ugh. That's so
this is... I agree. This is really rough for HAREM now, as you wanted to get more time out of that first point if you're HAREM. Obviously, there's still a lot of opportunity to hold the second point for a while, as especially if you take out Senpai nice and early. Now we see 1-for-1 though. Jumanfo taken out by Chris DPG. Is Otter kind of mopping up a second kill here. Wacky down early yet again. Graviton did come out of here, but I don't know if anyone's in position to mop that one up, and no, there's not. Senpai with this nice barrier going to really disrupt the hell out of this fight. But SDFK, they're having trouble finding another kill, as that slam didn't do a whole lot, but Haren does find a kill onto the backline. Now Bark down as well. Wacky on this Widowmaker. They have 3 lines to mop up this fight, and I stand corrected. I thought this looked good for SDFK, but it is the defense. It's going to hold this for a little longer.
Yeah, Herons was able to defend that. That was fucking great, guys. Keep it up. More Overwatch! I demand it!
Hanzo, at your service.
But going into the next fight, we do have a little bit of alt advantage on Heron's Harem. Very little, I say.
Power of destruction. Greetings.
Yeah,
But it's something.
It's something. You take everything you can get. By the way, Senpai swapping over to Hanzo, so the brothers... there's one on each side. The brother wins! Senpai takes out Wacky.
One brother kills one brother.
Oh, he fights. That is well worth. He takes out both of the healers. And that is going to be huge. As, they got to be careful not to C9 at this point, though, as now they do drop down, but there's no healing available. This should be an easy fight, and this will be another hold. As Heron's out there seeing if he can scout out any more.
If he was to kill 2 people, that couldn't have been any more perfect, killing both their supports. Especially with both of them having ults, like, wow.
This is big, though, because now there are 3 ults available here for SDFK. Nothing available, and there's no big defensive ults on the side of Heron's Harem. SDFK, they want to press go fast. Oh, and that is exactly what they didn't want to have happen. They did not want an early pick here. That buys Heron's Harem the time to even out this ult economy. But they do trade DPS. Chris DPG down, and now Gluma down. This is it. I think we're going to see SDFK push forward out of this point. If Bark is dropping, he's charging into a corner. We're seeing... no, that was no split. I don't know if the team was on the same page there, and sometimes when you're not on the same page, Reinhardt says go.
Yeah, I mean, Heron's Harem is still going to defend this, and this is going to last fight territory. They could potentially get 2 if they have a Lucio and they're quick about it, but I don't know if they're going to be this quick or then.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to imagine there'll be 2 fights here. So this is it. There's a lot of queues available now in both directions. More so for Heron's Harem than SDFK, which is not good given they were in the opposite situation just a moment ago. But here we go. The high ground push enabled. Will Otter go for the early ults to make sure her team can get in on this entry? As Graviton Surge comes out, this team is going to be split. The sound barrier, it did not hit everyone because of that split. As we have a 1-for-1 trade here. There's 12 seconds to play, but now Senpai down as well. Cthulhu and you doing what he needs. Active lock it down. This is looking good for Heron's Harem. Just Otter Motter alive on this point. There's Jumanfo down on the ground. Otter trying to buy time. That is too much to ask of one little Lucio. And that is it. Heron's Harem looking rough for so long, but they clutch it out and they will take Kanamura in a 2-1 lead in this semifinal.
Yeah, for that last fight, Wacky had a beautiful ult. It split them hard. I know there's a grab going in the back too, but they were completely split, and that was it. That was just an easy win fight after that. But
folks, I'm gonna take a real quick mid-series water break because these teams are gonna take a second to get their maps picked. I'll be right back.
I guess I will take over as one of the commentator people. I can do it. Hi. But going into this next fight, it's what? Herons have 2 and social distancing is at 1, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, Heron's Harem have been playing really great, and they have continued to playing really great. So, going into this next, we have which 3 maps? We have Escort map. Ah, yes. Junkertown, something and something. Rialto, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, whatever. I quit. Yeah, so That's pretty dive or some of these maps are pretty dive oriented, so I doubt we're gonna have any of those jabroni maps because who wants to dive on that? I mean, I would. Fucking diving is super fun, but it's really hard to usually coordinate dives with the Baddy League just because not everyone is always on the same page. But yeah, Junkertown looks like it's gonna get picked, and so we're gonna have some pretty interesting, sand everywhere. Just sand is gonna be in your socks and in your underwear because God, there's just so much sand and dirt everywhere in Junkertown. Ugh, who wants to deal with that? No one. That's who. But I'm tired. So yeah, with Junkertown being picked, we're definitely probably gonna see. I feel like they're. I guess last time I said there was going to be double shield, but I have a feeling they're probably not going to do that. Even though I think it'd be pretty nifty to have double shield, at least for on attack, using that cart. But who knows? I mean, maybe they will still get to see them. I feel like there's can you keep up with Ryan Zarya? Both people are going to keep up with Ryan Zarya instead of having some sort of Sigma and Ryan or Sigma and Orisa into this. Could be interesting. Cthulhu is probably going to keep up on that Doomfist, even though he's been switching off. He's been on Reaper. He's been doing some Pharah. But this is like I said, it's a pretty nice map for Doomfist, I think. Usually it's pretty much on a hit scan because there's a lot of open territory and a lot of open, a lot of high angles to get off of. So especially for the first and second point, and third point too, but generally it's harder to keep that high angles. And what do you think, AJ's? You gonna
Completely agreed.
Cool. With both teams, one of the teams looking ready, I believe. I guess not. I don't know if anyone wants me to boast their team a lot more than the other. I'm available to accept money.
Yeah, I will actually actively shill any team that. What? I will actively shill any team that starts making Twitch subs, but also I will actively shill. I never broke my arm.
It's a meme.
I'm a boomer. I don't know these memes.
Initiating match.
I miss old school memes like Shoop the Whoop and 9000. What are you fucking kids on these days with the Reddit and the upvotes?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So I have a question, AJ Zero, especially for this next match. What does the scouter say about your power?
No, you can't force that. You can't force that.
But I love it. It's one of my favorites.
It brings me back to...
Vegeta.
Well, what I can say about power levels is, yes, this is exactly what we're here for, folks. Look at him. His name is Senpai. And this is exactly what we wanted to see.
Double shield, finally. Like I said, it's easier on attack. Pirate ship.
This takes me back to my last season playing. A year ago, we really enjoyed some pirate ship.
Have you ever
a sub can fill in the AJ0 role?
And a good tip for all of you out there: if you hold your tongue and say you live on a pirate ship, it won't sound like that.
4, 3, 2.
Correct. Those are some casting mechanics. The mechanics of speaking. Normally you gotta pay for professional coaching like that, but not today. HAREM, alright, HAREM on Roadhog. We have a lot of new picks here that we have not acknowledged at all. And Chris TBG takes out Wacky. Now you said earlier, now the Bastion is set up. There are no snipers available from this defense as this cart is moving. And this pirate ship is just sailing away as Gluma wants to go die on the cart because there's no getting out of this one. Actually, what the actual fuck? They just let Gluma's Anna come in and solo kill the Bash. I mean, it doesn't matter, but come on, guys.
I can't.
That was atrocious. That was one of the worst plays you will see in this situation. It doesn't matter. Oh, a big grenade comes up with a nice mortality field out of Otter to equalize. As this 0.01 meters when the tanks finally touch. That is dangerous, but they do take out Senpai. That Bastion unavailable. And now this is maybe the chance for HAREM to flip this fight around. They once again have to be careful not to step off, because if that cart moves literally an inch, it is point taken. And they're keeping all members alive on it as Jerusalem gets the nice aggressive res off onto Bark. As Wacky with the point-blank tire. I think that's gonna... Nope, just takes out the immortality field. As now, we do have a Hanzo up on the high ground on the Cthulhu and you. As Dragon comes from spawn, a Bastion ult coming in. Senpai wants to mop this one up. He's finding some kills here, finding some good damage. Gets a D-Mech onto HAREM while all this is going on. And I think in this long fight with an inch to go, a centimeter to go, it's a 0.01 of a meter to go. The fight goes well.
Yeah, that was looking really like neck and neck for a while. Then all of a sudden, it seems like social distancing.
Hello.
Seems like HAREM was fucking like about to, take that and win that, and then social distancing, they were able to bounce back. Just bide some time, wait for people to come in, wait for picks. They played that pretty smart.
Yeah, I liked that. So here we go now. The pirate ship re-enabled. We see HAREM kind of scout down this diva. By the way, HAREM diva, unenthusiastic about that guy. I'm gonna throw that out there. Ooh, Senpai finds the first, finds the second. Oh, Bastion is online. Bastion loses his life though, and now this is man advantage. But no, now it is man even. 4 versus 4, and no Bastion. That's the big one. Tsunosub took a nice long nap. There was no healing coming out for a while, although it was a double main healer combo. Anna tossed this Nano onto her Wacky Tabaki. There's a lot of things being eaten here. Another long sleep on active locket, but once again, a dragon from spawn coming out. Is that turned into a swap? As now Wacky does find Tsunosub with the tire, as everyone is just throwing fists into each other's faces. Diva Bomb goes a little too deep out of HAREM, but does get him a remake, as Senpai has re-established himself in this fight on the Bastion. As HAREM, the D-Mech, going to be the last one to fall here. As I think Jumanfo needs to go just die on that cart. Or no, he actually maybe will make it out here. Either way, though, that is second point taken for SDFK. Yes.
I'm gonna say it. I wish fucking HAREM was able to defend that, because Gluba had the biggest fucking balls with like the suicidal Anna running in there and just being on top of everyone, egging everybody, and then getting the sleep off of active locket so he could stop his ult from happening. Fucking nuts.
Those support changes must not have come through. Gluba's out there like, could a nerfed Anna do all this?
Yeah, he fucking nailed it.
Alright, so here we go. Immortality field down. 2 kills over to the pirate ship. As we are going to keep sailing away here towards the third and final point. Senpai with all the support in the world, and it has been very effective. And there are a lot of, well, sorry, actually a couple of them about to wear off, but they still do have the damage field available and the Bastion ult available. That's enough to win a fight outright. As there's no uber powerful ults on the side of the defense either. As a HAREM though, who needs ults when you've got M1, goes up there and forces Chris DPG off the high ground and back to hell. So now we have a 6v5 here in favor of the defense. What can they do with it? Kilo's gonna be traded, actually a lot being traded, a lot being taken by HAREM's HAREM, as they will be able to clean this fight up. HAREM looking for the stagger onto active locket, but I don't quite think he's going to get there.
I mean, having the Diva and the Junkrat is really helpful against Pirate. One of the specialities is that Diva can do is obviously suck up all the bullets, everyone knows that. But Junkrat himself is also a utility on getting and killing a lot of people for especially the pirate ship, because you can just die on top of him, and that's a lot of fucking damage being done.
All better.
Just to
Yeah,
the
I
after
agree.
bomb.
Alright, here we go. Heading into the next fight. HAREM, worst player on the map, now with the ult available. I can't wait to see how he's going to waste this one, as he has been every time he's chucked that Diva Bomb out. HAREM, look at that. He was about to die, so he says, I better press Q. Oh, but his team bails him out, and he gets a double, including Tsunosub's mercy. And this is going to be great. HAREM carried by awesome play from his teammates there.
Yeah, they definitely has a really good defense on them. I know Senpai right now has ult on Bastion, but you should just fucking switch. I mean, right now is the best time to switch off of Bastion. Keeping them as I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to opt for one of the big Q fights instead. So let's see here. Can Senpai force this issue? They may be trying to stall this one out for Otterbatter's ult. There it is.
Yeah, but faction mobility is fucking garbo. But we'll see. Maybe they got another fun plan they're gonna do.
Yeah, they got some nice damage that's stuck onto Haren's mech for a second there. They kind of let them move their lines forward. As now Senpai, here we go. He is ulted, but he's pretty far away from his team right now. Here we go. Wacky chucking out a tire in the other direction. Takes out active lock down that back line. He did get the Sigma ult off before he died. Or at least I heard it. It may not have done anything, but Wacky is just raining hell. Tunisup does find this res on an active locket, and there's a kill on a Cthulhu. It's still a slight advantage for the defense, but now Dragon coming through splits this team apart as the Orisa battery on this defense doing some damage. Haren just trying to play Soldier 76 up here on the high ground. No one giving a fuck about this diva. This is still looking good. Now this is a diva bomb. This is going to look pretty oh, it does find one. Sigma shielded some teammates there. As this is still looking really good for the defense. I think, oh, maybe. This is actually looking really even, but Cthulhu and you, that's the ult that's finally going to do something decisive in this fight, and the defense is still holding.
Yeah, that's going to be definitely a hold. And like I said, they have the switch and they finally got the switch. Now we have Senpai on McCray. Is going to be able to actually quite do a bit more. A lot more.
Yeah, I like that. He already found 60% towards that eye. Shows he's at least clicking bodies. Probably getting close to clicking heads. Now here we go. Christie gets it and immediately presses it. Dragon, rock the dragon.
It was a dragon.
Cthulhu down in the back. Ooh, yeah, that is well dueled from the support. Senpai did die while this was going on though, but now Wacky down as well, so that's some top tier DPS off the menu as we have 8 seconds to play. This is it. Nano Haren forcing everyone back is SDFK, you gotta rush towards this card. They just they do, man. They barely charge onto that card in time, but Autobata loses her life during this entry. Now Tunisup loses his life as well. That's no healing available as Haren chucking a bomb back, finds one. Wacky finds one with his grip tire, and this is looking and chucks out ult just for the sake of it. But there are too many members of this defense on this cart. Lucio is touching, but Otter will not last long. And that is going to be a nice defensive hold out of Haren's Harem.
Definitely was a nice hold. You gotta deal with people on the high ground. I mean, how much at the time you see fucking Wacky or in Harem and some guy just on the top there just shooting from different angles. I mean, this is one of the hardest points to push if you're not careful about what's above your head.
Yeah, I agree. Even we caught it a few times in the moments. Probably caught it a lot more on camera. Just so much damage being rained down from that high grounds.
Yeah. By the way, I always have like my caster view like all the way on the ceiling, just kind of looking down.
Same.
Yeah.
By the way, Cuban Pete, thanks for the bits. I was hoping you would appreciate my shout out. Once again, folks, I will trash talk anyone, or I will trash talk anyone for money. We know what we are here, especially myself.
Trash talk me. Trash talk me.
That would be me.
Oh.
The only way to trash talk a caster is to get personal.
I got nothing to personal share, I guess.
Oh, don't worry. For enough bits, I will trash talk my co-caster.
Oh shit.
No,
yeah, you know what?
I'll trash talk 30 if you want. I don't give a fuck. But what I do give a fuck about is this map. Cthulhu and you. Can you hold up to Senpai's high standards of Bastion play? We will find out as there is another pirate ship coming here. Meanwhile, Christy PG over onto the Echo. Only seen very little of her tonight. It's Cthulhu and you finds that first kill, and that's going to be one of the shields unavailable. Barks Orisa off the defense. As this cart is still moving on. Bastion currently was going mobile there for a second, but not punished. Senpai trying to rain damage down from this high ground, loses the duel. And now we see a very split SDFK going to get a few staggers here. And this will, this is SDFK setting up for the point contest.
Yeah,
but they're gonna. Oh, Otter gets staggered late. I missed her.
Oh yeah, she was just flying in the back.
They might want to consider just giving this point off.
They have to.
No, they don't. They don't agree with that because they let 3 people out there before all their team can join them, and they're going to start this fight at a mad disadvantage. They're going to try to get in that Bastion space. They do trade for the Bastion. Senpai with a nice pick up there on Widowmaker. As it's looking like it's working out here. Wacky, though, wins the Widow duel. And now Gluba's Mercy down. This is maybe an advantage for SDFK. Here we go, Sigma Slam coming through, taking out what remains of Haren's Harem. And, I mean, that was honestly a bad start to the fight, but SDFK, they just outplayed.
Did anyone see the switch to Echo?
Chris TPG's been Echo all along.
Yeah. I don't pay attention.
I got you. So this is, by the way, they're still fighting. Don't agree with this out of Haren's Harem, is they're just really feeding some ult charge over right now, and I think maybe finally they get the clear idea to disengage. But SDFK, looking good.
With both the adversaries just slapping each other, it's more of like a slap fight than a fight, you know? But yeah, so going into this next fight, looking at ults, it's really hard to see who's actually going to take this fight. But with Valkyrie getting a pick.
Got Tuna sub down, so that's Rezible, and will be. And now here we go, Sigma going the other way is Tuna sub. Oh, Honor dies right as she pops the Valkyrie. That's very unfortunate for SDFK. Haren's here, I'm going to see if they can get more. It was just 1 kill out of that Sigma ult, and now the defensive Sigma chucking that Orisa up like a cheap toy. And now Senpai, Tuna sub both finding kills here. Once again, this looked good at the start of the fight for Haren's Harem, but just outplays as the fight goes on. This is looking I mean, this is still a very even fight, though. Everyone in each other's faces just trying to finish. Not a lot of effective focus fire going on here, but there we go. Finally, the tanks for the Harem both go down together. And SDFK will hold, and now only 70 seconds to play. Big questions here for the Harem.
Social Distancing is playing it very... Oh, that sucks. But Social Distancing was playing it very nice. Now they have to deal with the whole Widow. I mean, they're definitely going to have Sigma. Oh, well, Sigma Shield just, I guess, sitting up there. Oh, going for the res. Yeah, that's smart. Or not.
Yeah, they were not able to get that res off. And now here we go. Widow sights are coming out from Senpai. As we see a very preemptive Valkyrie out of Gluba. Gotta be careful. Widow has sights available. He's playing kind of high right now. But Wacky will ensure that there is nothing to worry about with the sniper duel. This has been really back and forth. Will there be... No, that's Valkyrie wearing off. That's not a res. Because now, here we go. Everyone making their way onto this cart. Reinhardt is copied here by the Echo. As this is looking all right for Haren's Harem, as now this is getting very brawly, and actually a lot of members of SDFK are falling apart. Reaper All from Cthulhu and You wants to ensure that his team gets this point, and they will. With 13 seconds to play, the first point is captured by Haren's Harem.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Chris TPG using that charge right off the bat rather than just swinging hammer and putting shield up. Was able to not really get anything done with his ult. But he still is playing Echo. He's still going to have his ult pretty quickly. He is getting a lot of damage off of it. So we'll see what the next ult that he does, if he's going to be fucking pooping on them kids.
Right, so looking at ults here, Part-Time Jesus with the slam, probably the biggest one available, as there are a few ults we're inching close towards. Autobotter nearly has a Valkyrie, so that could be a big one with one of these less ult-reliant fights. That's usually when Valkyrie excels, but when the shields go down, the slam excels, but there's not enough follow-up. That was a 5-man shatter converted to a healthy 0 kills. Now, Haren has to use the Graviton, but that finds 2, that finds 3, and it looks like the pressure was enough, as Haren's Harem just dominates that fight. Team kill for no one. Or maybe not team kill, because TPG
One team won,
I think. Yeah, big fight win, whether it was a team kill or not.
Yeah, that's looking pretty bad for social distancing. They now have pretty much just Valkyrie's ult. That is it to hold off for 1, 2, maybe 3 fights. Probably just 2 fights if Haren's Harem just fucking pushes hard.
Here we go. Autobot going with the early Valkyrie. Wants to keep her team topped off as those tanks taking some damage. A lot of damage kind of sticking here. But Wacky will be the first to fall. Some good shots come through the sight lines. And now we have Echo's copying the Moira. So that was a lot of healing available, at least for a minute. Mark gets the kill to Part-Time Jesus. Cthulhu and you down as well. Now this is a chance for SDFK. They're starting to push forward. All 6 together. They're finding these kills, and they have finally stopped the movement of this card.
That was pretty good for Solsticing. They were able to hold off of a lot just using Valkyrie. That was pretty. But going into this fight, Aaron's Harem, they have a lot of hefty fucking ults to use and utilize.
Yeah, they have. They can Lucio for their entry if they'd like. They can do Graviton into Reaper as the easy combo. Remember, no defensive ults available on the side of the defense. Just Coalescence, which I mean, that's not going to, stop the Reaper ult. Here we go, wacky backy up high. We've already got a 1-for-1 trade. By the way, that's Cthulhu and you down. So he will not be able to. And that hammer may have just saved this team that was stuck in the Graviton. We've seen trades both ways. Otter does get a res on the Senpai during all this. But SDFK, they are getting some great damage to stick. And they have forced Harem's Harem completely back.
That was big, Burke. Especially with Tunisub using Coalescence right there. They was able to save and do damage, and it was just a lot of safety. I mean, Coalescence is a pretty quick thing to get back, but once again, Heron's Harem does have 3 ults pretty much in the chain for this next.
Yeah, we are only a couple of percent away from 4 ults from the side of SDFK, though. So that could be big. I'm really going to keep an eye for Otterbotter with this Valkyrie if she can keep her team really top level. Otter's taking a lot of damage here. Otter gets picked out. Oh, that is exactly what SDFK did not want. That is big healing, and that's both the healers. Tunisub is down as well. This could be it for Heron's Harem. A huge Graviton comes out of active locket. Can they capitalize? The answer was no. This card is moving. That's a big hammer, but there is no one there to follow up. Otterbotter going out. It has to find a miracle res, but there is no chance. And Heron's Harem, with 24 seconds to play, they managed to just win a huge fight. Cthulhu and you make sure to keep everyone off the cart. And with 20 seconds to go, Heron's Harem